Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something that might sound a bit dry at first, statistics. But stick with me because this is a topic that affects everything from your grocery bill to the economy at large. In a world moving faster than ever, keeping our economic data current isn't just important, it's absolutely critical. If we let our stats go stale, they become useless, and we're left making decisions in the dark. Let's break down why this matters, using some eye opening insights from a recent article in The Economist. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride through the world of numbers. First off, let's talk about the backbone of economic data in the US, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS. These folks are out there every day, hitting the streets to collect prices on everything from movie tickets to doctor visits. This data feeds into the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, which is basically the pulse of inflation. It tells us how much stuff costs and helps guide massive decisions, like how much Social Security pays out or whether the Federal Reserve hikes interest rates. But here's the kicker: the BLS is in trouble. According to The Economist, they're cutting corners because they're strapped for cash. They've stopped collecting data in cities like Lincoln, Nebraska, and Buffalo, New York, and they're scrapping price data for entire industries like lime manufacturing and metal cookware. Why? Because their budget can't keep up with the demands of today's economy. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so they skip a few cities or industries. What's the big deal? Well, let's zoom in on why this is a problem. The world is changing fast. Think online shopping, gig work, and supply chain chaos. If our data doesn't reflect these trends, it's like trying to navigate with a map from 1995. For example, The Economist points out that response rates for BLS surveys have tanked. Back in 2000, 93% of people answered their employment surveys. By 2019, that dropped to 83%. And since the pandemic, it's plummeted to 67%. Fewer responses mean less accurate data. And when you combine that with budget cuts, down 18% in real terms over 20 years, you get a recipe for murky stats. The BLS is even resorting to guesswork, like estimating the price of pears in Atlanta by using Apple prices or pear prices from Nashville. In April and May this year, 30% of their data was just educated guesses. That's not a statistic, that's a coin toss. Let's get real about what this means for you and me. Outdated or inaccurate stats can mess with everything. If the CPI underestimates inflation, millions of Americans could get smaller Social Security checks than they need. If it overestimates, the Federal Reserve might jack up interest rates, making your car loan or mortgage more expensive. And it's not just big picture stuff. The Economist mentions how the BLS stopped breaking down wages for different types of truck drivers a few years ago. That made it harder for the Teamsters Union to negotiate fair contracts. Imagine being a worker and not having the data to back up your case for a raise. Or think about businesses trying to plan in 2025 without knowing the real costs of materials like industrial diamonds, which The Economist says threw off entire industries when their prices weren't tracked during the pandemic. Stale data doesn't just sit there, it causes a domino effect of bad decisions. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. William Beach, a former BLS commissioner, compares federal statistics to highways and bridges the knowledge infrastructure our economy needs to run smoothly. I love that analogy because it's spot on. If you let a bridge crumble, you can see the cracks. But with statistics, the damage is invisible until it's too late. The Economist warns that as the BLS cuts more surveys, like teenage unemployment or union membership, we're losing the ability to track trends that shape our society. And with proposals to slash BLS funding by another 8%, things could get even worse. We're talking about a future where we're flying blind on critical issues, from job safety to wage growth. In 2025, with tariffs and trade policies shaking things up, we need crystal clear data to see how these changes hit consumers and businesses. Without it, we're just guessing. So, why does this keep happening? Part of it is priorities. Erica Grosjean, another former BLS commissioner, told The Economist that no one gets elected by promising better statistics. Politicians love flashy projects, not funding data nerds. Plus, the BLS is stretched thin. They've moved to cheaper offices, let staff retire without replacements, and now operate at about 60% capacity after hiring freezes and cuts. It's like asking a chef to cook a gourmet meal with half the ingredients and a broken stove. The result? Data that's less reliable every year. And in a world where online prices and real time trends are king, as Harvard's Alberto Cavallo notes, we can't afford to lag behind. If our stats don't keep pace with 2025's economy, they're not just outdated, they're useless. All right, let's wrap this up with a call to action. Keeping statistics current isn't just about numbers, it's about making sure our economy works for everyone, whether you're a retiree counting on Social Security, a worker negotiating a contract, or a business owner planning for the future. You need data you can trust. So, what can we do? Spread the word. Share this video to spark a conversation about why stats matter. Hit up your elected officials and tell them to prioritize funding for agencies like the BLS. And if you're as geeked out about this as I am, dive into the Economist article we've linked below for the full scoop. Let's demand data that keeps up with 2025's crazy pace, because without it, we're all just stumbling in the dark. Thanks for watching, you legends. If you found this deep dive into the world of stats as wild as I did, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. Drop a comment below. Do you think stats are getting enough love? Or are we letting them fade into the background? Let's keep this convo going. Until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.